Imagine this. You wake up one morning and for a moment the world seems just a bit off-kilter. Not in any catastrophic sense, but in a way that unsettles the quiet hum of your daily existence. You glance around your room and notice something. A book, a phrase on a poster, the exact song playing on a distant radio that strikes you with an unexplainable familiarity. It's as if the universe whispered a secret meant only for you, a puzzle piece slipping into place within the labyrinth of your life. Yet, this piece doesn't fit any logic, you know. It demands another kind of understanding, one that defies cause and effect, one that refuses to be pinned down by the cold machinery of reason. What if the very notion of randomness is an illusion? What if the chaos you've always accepted as the backdrop of existence conceals an intricate weave of meaning that escapes your usual senses? How often have you brushed off those moments when a fleeting thought meets a surprising event, or when a chance encounter shifts your entire perspective? What if these aren't mere coincidences but signposts, cryptic messages etched into the fabric of reality by a force you haven't yet learned to see? The paradox here is unbearable. The universe presents itself as vast, indifferent, and chaotic, yet here you are, exquisitely tuned to its hidden melodies. How can you be both a drop lost in the boundless ocean of happenstance and the very instrument through which the ocean's secrets sing? Does the world conspire, or do you merely conspire with the world? And if so, where does the conspiracy begin, and where does it end? You might argue this is wishful thinking, a desperate need to stitch your scattered experiences into a narrative that feels safe, meaningful, and warm. But what if that narrative is already true, waiting silently beneath the noise of daily life? What if those moments you dismissed, the unexpected phone calls, the surreal dreams, the eerie repetitions, are not accidental? What if they are, in fact, the universe calling to you, beckoning you to wake up to a reality that's far richer, far stranger, and far more interconnected than you dared imagine? The tension grows when you realize that the very attempt to grasp this idea feels like chasing smoke. You want to pin down synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence, the uncanny alignment. Yet as soon as you try, it slips through your fingers like a phantom. Is it out there, an objective truth waiting to be unlocked, or is it inside you, a reflection of your deepest yearnings and fears? Could it be both? If so, what does that say about the nature of existence, about the fragile interface between your spirit and the cosmos? Here lies the most unsettling question. What if the key to life's mysteries isn't found in the accumulation of knowledge or the mastery of facts, but in your capacity to perceive connections where none should logically exist? What if the boundaries you've drawn around reason, time, and cause-effect are only veils, thin as spider silk, hiding realms of insight that you've never been taught to access? What if your spirit, that elusive core of your being, is designed not just to survive, but to decode the cryptic script woven into every heartbeat, every encounter, every fleeting moment? As you stand on this precipice, a gnawing sense of despair might creep in. How do you navigate a world where meaning doesn't follow rules? How do you trust signs when skepticism screams louder than belief? And yet, within that despair, there flickers an ancient promise that once you step beyond the veil of randomness, once you grasp that seemingly contradictory idea, that chaos and meaning dance together in an unbreakable embrace, your spirit begins to unlock doors long sealed, doors leading to the mysteries that have haunted humanity since the dawn of consciousness. Can you imagine what it would be like then? To walk through life sensing the threads that connect you to everything else, to feel the pulse of the cosmos reflected in your own breath, to no longer be a passive observer but an active participant in a symphony of meaningful patterns. This isn't some distant fantasy. It's a threshold, and it lies just beyond your current understanding. But before you can cross it, you must first confront the paradox at the heart of synchronicity itself. You must wrestle with the uncomfortable truth that life's mysteries are not puzzles to solve with logic alone, but enigmas to experience with your whole being. The journey to unlock this secret spirit requires more than intellectual assent. It demands a radical shift in perception. It demands that you embrace uncertainty, not as a void, but as a fertile ground for revelation. So, what happens when you stop dismissing these strange, unexpected alignments as mere chance? What happens when you begin to listen, truly listen, to the signals embedded in the fabric of your existence? This is not about superstition or fantasy. It's about awakening to a deeper reality where every coincidence carries weight, every encounter resonates with meaning, and every moment becomes a key to life's grander design. You find yourself standing before a threshold, heart pounding with a mixture of hope and fear, aware that stepping through will change everything. The world you thought you knew will shift, tilt, and rearrange. Your spirit will be tested, your mind expanded, and your very sense of identity transformed. Are you ready to begin this journey? To follow the thread of synchronicity into the vast, uncharted territories of your soul? To unlock the mysteries that have always been there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to see? The path ahead is both thrilling and daunting, but the first step is clear: to recognize that these meaningful coincidences are not accidents. They are the language of the universe speaking directly to your spirit, the key to unlocking life's deepest, most profound mysteries. And so you stand on the edge, poised to enter a world where meaning and mystery dance, where paradox is not a barrier but an invitation, and where your spirit, once awakened, will begin to decode the secret script of existence itself. The question remains: will you take that step or turn away, leaving the door closed? In the silence that follows, listen closely, because the next moment, when you finally grasp what synchronicity truly is, will change everything. You stand at the precipice of something vast, not a place on a map, but a dimension embedded in the fabric of your consciousness. Why has this force, this uncanny alignment of moments, escaped your grasp all this time? Why does the world mostly pass as noise and chaos rather than a symphony of meaning? To unravel this, you must peer into the tangled web of mind and culture that veils synchronicity from everyday awareness. One reason lies lodged deeply in the way we have been taught to see reality, through the cold lens of cause and effect, of reductionist logic and empirical certitude. Our minds crave patterns, yes, but the ones sanctioned by science and society are often mechanical, linear, and strictly material. If something cannot be measured, quantified, or predicted with rigid formulas, it is dismissed as coincidence, illusion, or mere chance. This is no accident. Thinkers like Friedrich Nietzsche warned us of the will to truth as a double-edged sword, a hunger not just for knowledge, but for certainty that blinds us to other modes of knowing. We trade mystery for control, depth for convenience. But beneath this surface, a longing stirs, a yearning to glimpse the unseen order, the hidden threads that bind disparate events into a cosmic tapestry. Carl Gustav Jung, the pioneer who coined synchronicity, recognized this, describing it as an acausal connecting principle. It defies conventional causality, yet it asserts itself with undeniable force, connecting inner states, your fears, hopes, intuitions, with external realities. Jung's shadow loomed large over psychology precisely because he insisted that the psyche cannot be dissected purely through logic or neurology. It dances in dialectics of symbol, myth, and archetype. The unconscious mind, he posited, speaks a language not of elementary particles or neurons, but of symbols that, when met by the conscious ego at just the right moment, create experiences charged with profound meaning. Here is the paradox. Modernity has pushed us away from this symbolic world, replacing it with a sterile objectivity that comforts but narrows the soul. Arthur Schopenhauer, with his bleak perception of life's suffering, gestured toward a reality shaped by will rather than reason, an irrational force that governs desire and existence beneath the veneer of rational thought. Synchronicity is a whisper of this will, a crack in the mechanistic facade where the irrational, the mysterious and the spiritual converge. Society, too, plays a role in this neglect. We are trained to compartmentalize, to classify experiences into neat boxes of logic or dismiss them as faulty perception. Aldous Huxley, observing the 20th century's rush into technological domination, lamented how this process estranges us from the inner cosmos. The collective insistence on external validation fosters not clarity but fragmentation. We grow stranger to ourselves, to the quiet signals our spirit sends amid the rush of distractions. Yet the impact is not merely philosophical or intellectual. Psychologically, the refusal or inability to recognize synchronicity fractures identity. Jean-Paul Sartre's nightmare of existential freedom warns us that without authentic engagement, we become alienated actors trapped in bad faith, denying the fullness of our being to evade responsibility for creating meaning. When you dismiss synchronistic events as coincidence, you also shut down part of your spirit's dialogue with the universe, stunting growth and leaving your essence adrift. Viktor Frankl, surviving the unspeakable horrors of the Holocaust, distilled life's core into the search for meaning, a meaning often found in the midst of suffering, unpredictability, and apparent randomness. Synchronicity becomes a beacon in Frankl's framework, a signpost in the chaos, affirming that beneath the surface of chance lies a purpose waiting to be discovered. This purpose is not imposed from without, but emerges from the resonance between your inner world and external events. This force, the hidden synchronistic current, exerts a subtle but relentless pressure on human emotions. Doubt, despair, and confusion rise when you feel disconnected, as if the world is a cold, indifferent machine. Conversely, moments of unexpected alignment spark exhilaration, a sense of belonging to something greater than yourself. These moments expose the thin veil between isolation and unity, between meaninglessness and transcendence. But why are so few prepared to embrace synchronicity? Perhaps it demands too much, a surrender of certainty, a leap into vulnerability. To perceive these meaningful coincidences, you must first dismantle the ego's fortress constructed from skepticism and control. You must confront the unsettling reality that your life is not solely your own to command, but a node in a vast, living network of symbolic exchanges. This realization threatens not only comfort but identity itself, destabilizing the neat narrative you have told yourself about who you are and why you exist. And yet, the consequences of ignoring this invitation are deeper than mere spiritual stagnation. When you close the door on synchronicity, you confine your spirit to a limited horizon, blinding yourself to the subtle scripts the universe writes upon your life. Emotional numbness and existential despair become shadows lurking close by. The psyche craves wholeness, and missing these synchronistic connections fractures your sense of reality. Each unnoticed alignment a thread left unattached, the tapestry incomplete. But there is something else, a trembling beneath the surface, a premonition that this hidden force may hold keys not only to personal transformation, but to a profound understanding of existence itself. It is as if synchronicity gestures toward a secret dimension where time folds, causality loosens, and meaning is not constructed but revealed, like a seed breaking through soil into light. The question gnaws now. If such a force is real, if your spirit can indeed unlock mysteries long kept secret, why do so many remain blind to it? What ancient wound or cultural amnesia keeps this knowledge shrouded? And what price have you already paid for this blindness without knowing it? The answers lie not in textbooks or formulas, but in the courage to meet those odd, shimmering moments when coincidence becomes revelation, and when your spirit strains to hear the silent language of the cosmos. The journey has just begun, but the gravity of what lies ahead pulls insistently. You are no longer merely a passive traveler through the happenings of this world. You are invited to become an interpreter of signs, a seeker attuned to the sacred rhythm underlying apparent randomness. To grasp synchronicity is to awaken the spirit's eye, to pierce the veil separating you from the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. And as the layers of your own psyche shift, you begin to sense that this is no mere curiosity or intellectual exercise. You stand before an abyss of meaning that challenges everything you thought you knew about fate, freedom, and the very nature of reality. The world tightens its breath, waiting for you to choose whether to look deeper, to open your heart wider, and to follow the hidden current pulling through the chaos. What you will find on the other side is not comfort or easy answers. It is a confrontation with paradox, mystery, and ultimately the liberation your spirit thirsts for. This is the quiet revolution that synchronicity promises, a revolution of being, perception, and connection, where life's mysteries are no longer locked away in shadows, but unlocked through the symphony of soul and cosmos entwined. Can you feel it now, pulsing beneath your skin? The invitation, the challenge, the call to awaken and unlock the mysteries that have always whispered your name, waiting patiently for your spirit to listen. You have felt it, haven't you? The subtle yet unrelenting pressure of an invisible force shaping not just your moments, but the very architecture of your thoughts, choices, and perceptions. It is the silent puppeteer, weaving patterns with threads you cannot see, binding you into narratives that feel too fixed, too certain to be accidental. This force is more insidious than the loud distractions of modern life, because it does not shout. It whispers, murmurs, and insinuates itself into the crannies of your mind, left undetected, unquestioned. And yet, its influence is devastatingly real. Imagine your consciousness as a room filled with mirrors, each reflecting fragments of a fragmented self. You move through these reflections, seeing only the angles light falls upon, unaware that your eyes are conditioned to favor certain images, to interpret shapes in ways that confirm what you already believe. These are the cognitive biases, those shadowy architects of your mental universe, erecting invisible walls and corridors, guiding your thoughts like a river confined by unseen banks. Confirmation bias, for instance, draws you towards experiences that confirm your preconceptions, while filtering out anything that challenges them. Like a selective lens, it allows you to see only what fits the puzzle you've constructed, leaving the rest in shadow. But why does your mind deceive you so effortlessly? Because it is wired for survival, not for truth. Your brain seeks patterns, order, and meaning as a way to navigate chaos and uncertainty. Neurologically, it's an economy of effort, a shortcut to making sense of an overwhelmingly complex world. The brain's pattern recognition centers fire eagerly when they find connections, even if those connections are illusory. This is the birthplace of synchronicity's mask, where coincidences dress themselves in the clothes of destiny, where chance events feel like messages from the universe, and where your spirit's yearning for meaning is both honored and exploited. Yet the trap deepens when you consider the role of cultural conditioning. From the moment you enter society, you are handed a script, a set of unspoken assumptions, values, and ways of perceiving that shape your internal landscape as much as your external behaviors. These layers of conditioning are the soil in which your personal reality grows, fertilized by the collective beliefs and shared myths of your environment. You are taught to interpret events through specific lenses, cause and effect, linear time, and a mechanistic universe governed by random chaos or rigid determinism. This framework, though comfortable and familiar, acts as an invisible cage, tightening its grip on your experience. Within this cage, synchronicity becomes an anomaly, a glitch in the predictable matrix. It is dismissed as coincidence, superstition, wishful thinking, or cognitive error. The dominant narrative cautions you to dismiss these meaningful coincidences precisely because they threaten the neat boundaries society relies on: control, predictability, and measurable cause-effect relationships. To acknowledge synchronicity fully would be to acknowledge a dimension of reality where meaning unfolds beyond logic, where causality is layered with purpose, and where your spirit is an active participant in the dance of life. not a passive victim of blind forces. Why does this matter so urgently? Because until you see the cage, its bars remain invisible. Your spirit clenches against it, yearning to break free, but each attempt is smothered by unseen chains forged by your own mind and culture. Every unexamined assumption about reality keeps you locked in a smaller world, one where the mysteries of existence are reduced to data points and random noise. The tragedy is that this confinement happens silently, subtly, without fanfare, making it nearly impossible to detect until the walls close in too tightly. Can you sense the weight of this unseen trap? It is the quiet oppression of a spirit denied its full birthright, the capacity to engage with the cosmos as a meaningful dialogue rather than a sterile clockwork. It shapes how you interpret your relationships, your successes and failures, your despair and hope. It colors the collective psyche of societies, dictating what is considered rational, what is dismissed as delusion, and what stories about life are told and retold, creating collective realities from the convergence of countless individual limitations. But here is the paradox. The very patterns your mind clings to for certainty keep you from grasping the bigger pattern, the underlying synchronicity that breathes purpose into chaos. This is the moment where the tension is most electric, between the safety of familiar illusions and the exhilarating unknown of true openness. You are poised on the edge of a breakthrough, yet to cross the threshold. The breakthrough whispers tantalizingly close, humming like a hidden frequency, waiting for your mind to soften its grip, for your spirit to listen not just with the ears of logic, but with the intuition that perceives the invisible threads binding all things. You must begin to see how deeply you have been shaped by this silent force, how it has shaped not only your internal experience, but the collective narratives that hold societies in their trance. Escaping this trap demands a rare courage, a willingness to question the very foundations of what you think you know. It demands that you ascend from the comforting illusions spun by biases and conditioning into a realm where uncertainty is not a void to fear, but a vast expanse to explore. Only by doing so can you begin to perceive the synchronistic patterns that have always been there, encoded in the subtle language of your encounters, your thoughts, and your dreams. Are you ready to let go of the familiar and step into the unknown? Because the path forward is not just about seeing more, it's about seeing differently. And it is this shift, this transformation in perception, that will eventually unlock the mysteries your spirit has sought for so long, revealing a reality far richer and more interconnected than you ever imagined. The weight of what lies hidden presses against your soul now. The question is no longer can you decipher the whispers of synchronicity, but will you dare to look beyond the comfortable illusions that have kept those whispers inaudible? The silent trap begins to show its cracks, the walls begin to thin, but the choice to step through, to unshackle your spirit's gaze, is still yours. There is a moment, sudden and seismic, when you realize that the world you trusted, so grounded in logic, causality, and linear time, is, in fact, a mirage. Not a deceit born of malice, but a carefully constructed architecture of perception designed to keep you confined. What if the cause and effect stories that shaped your every decision are only one fragmented piece of a vastly more intricate puzzle? What if your mind, wired to seek certainty and predictability, has been blindfolded from the very clues that could set you free? This is the radical shift, the rupture in your understanding, that must occur for you to glimpse the true nature of synchronicity. It requires dismantling the sacred idols of rationality and embracing a reality where the invisible orchestrations of the universe are the fundamental language of existence. Here, coincidence is no accident, and every encounter, every symbol, every sudden insight is a thread woven into the grand tapestry of your life's meaning. To grasp this, you must invert your assumption of control. For so long, you believed mastery comes from domination, mastery of your circumstances, your emotions, your fate. But the revolution you are invited to join reveals that true power lies in surrendering control to a higher intelligence, a sentient cosmos that speaks in signs and symbols, guiding your spirit toward deeper truths. Counterintuitive though it may sound, yielding to the flow of synchronicity, rather than resisting it, unlocks a more profound sovereignty than brute will ever could. Imagine the great visionaries who shattered conventional thought and opened new dimensions of understanding. Carl Jung, the father of synchronistic theory, did not stumble upon this concept lightly. He faced ridicule and skepticism, yet he followed the trail of meaningful coincidences until it led him to a vast, interconnected psyche, a collective unconscious where synchronicity pulses as a living force. Jung showed us that beneath the chaos of random events lies an ordered, meaningful pattern that speaks directly to the soul's quest. Or consider Nikola Tesla, whose genius transcended the known laws of physics by tapping into what he called the universal energy. Tesla's breakthroughs did not emerge from incremental logic alone, but from moments of intuitive revelation, where the boundaries between the internal and external worlds dissolved into a singular current of insight. His life exemplifies how surrender to synchronicity's guidance births innovation that defies the status quo. These luminaries illuminate the path for you, a path that demands a new mindset. You must move away from the illusion of solitary agency and enter a dialogic relationship with the universe. This means training yourself to read the signs that unfold like enigmatic hieroglyphs in your daily life. It means cultivating patience in the face of uncertainty, trusting that the universe's timing is exquisitely precise, even when your mind screams for immediate answers. How do you enact this transformation? It begins by cultivating radical awareness, a heightened sensitivity to the nuances of your inner and outer worlds. Notice how certain encounters stir a familiar chord in your soul, or how recurring symbols or themes intrude upon your waking consciousness. These are not mere coincidences, but messages from the invisible currents shaping your journey. Simultaneously, you must learn to release the compulsion to force outcomes. This is a monumental psychological shift. Our culture prizes control and achievement, but synchronicity demands a subtler art, the art of letting go without surrendering purpose. It is not passive resignation, but a dynamic openness, a dance with uncertainty where your spirit moves in harmony with the universe's rhythm. This openness requires a new kind of courage, one that dissolves the fear of chaos and embraces the unknown as fertile ground for growth. It is the courage to revise your inner narrative, rewriting the script that once led you to see life as a series of disconnected, random events into one, where every moment whispers of interconnected design. Imagine, then, the liberation of reclaiming your role not as a passive victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in the cosmic dialogue. You become an alchemist of meaning, transforming ordinary moments into signposts that guide your evolution. You wield a new kind of power, the power to decipher the coded language of the universe, to anticipate the unfolding of your path not through sheer force, but through attunement. History shows that those who embraced this shift did not merely survive, they revolutionized their worlds. Take Rumi, whose poetry dissolves the boundaries between the self and the divine, capturing the essence of synchronicity as a dance of souls. His words did not come from intellectual assent, but from lived experience, a surrender so profound that it unlocked eternal mysteries. Or look to the indigenous traditions scattered across the globe, where wisdom keepers have long known that life speaks in signs. Their survival depended on reading the language of the natural world, animal behavior, weather patterns, dreams, seeing these not as coincidental but as vital messages. Such ancestral knowledge is the blueprint for reclaiming your ancestral right to engage with life's profound mystery. Now consider this. Every moment you once dismissed as random or insignificant is a portal, Every unexplainable event that unsettled you is a pulse in the cosmic network calling you to awaken. You are not on the sidelines of existence, but at its very heart, where your spirit can, if you dare, decode the mysteries encoded in the fabric of reality itself. The control you feared to relinquish is not lost, but transformed into a deeper mastery, one that understands timing, resonance, and meaning. This mastery is the true freedom. Freedom from the illusion that life is a chaotic accident, and freedom into the realization that you are both a receiver and a sender in the vast communicative dance of the universe. So now, standing at this threshold, you hold the key to a revolutionary mindset. No longer is power the exclusive domain of domination and certainty. It is now the art of perceiving patterns beyond logic, of embracing uncertainty as a source of profound insight, and of surrendering without losing your light. This is your moment to rewrite the rules, not just to glimpse, but to live the mystery of synchronicity, to step into a reality far richer, far more alive than you ever dared imagine. To grasp synchronicity is not merely to observe the world differently. It is to unlock your spirit's deepest potential and finally see the invisible threads binding all life into a tapestry of unfathomable meaning. What if I told you that the world you inhabit, the one that seems so concrete, so immovable, is not the true stage of existence, not the final canvas on which your life is painted, but merely a surface rippling with shadows of a deeper, more profound reality? Imagine, for a moment, peeling back the veils not only of space and time but of causality itself, until you see that what you call you and the world are not separate entities locked in endless conflict or arbitrary chance, but threads woven into a single, living tapestry of consciousness. This is the ultimate revelation that synchronicity offers, that the universe is not a cold, indifferent machine, not a blind chaos tossing dice in the dark. It is a grand, sentient dance of meaning unfolding, and you are neither spectator nor victim but a vital participant with eyes to perceive and a heart to respond. The odds you once thought stacked against you were never odds at all. They were invitations, coded signals sent across dimensions, designed to pull you toward your awakening. Think back to every moment when coincidence felt uncanny, when the impossible aligned with your inner world with such precision it seemed otherworldly. Those were not random mishaps or mere chance. They were the universe's whispers, urgent messages hidden in the exquisite geometry of events, asking you to listen, to awaken, to step through the door of illusion into a realm where meaning blossoms. What does this mean for everything you have struggled to understand? Your fears, your heartbreaks, your unanswered questions. It means that every suffering was a teacher in disguise. Every loss was a compass pointing you back to your true self. Your past is not a graveyard of failed hopes, but a sacred archive of lessons encoded in the language of synchronicity. Your spirit was never broken, only veiled, slumbering beneath the noise of everyday distraction, waiting for the moment you would reclaim your role as co-creator with the cosmos. But here is the paradox that will redefine your vision of reality. The more you try to control life with brute force, through sheer will, rigid plans, or desperate certainty, the farther you drift from this truth. Control is not mastery. Mastery is surrender. Not surrender to powerlessness, but surrender to flow. It is learning to read the signs woven into the fabric of your existence and moving in harmony with them, like a skilled dancer who knows when to lead and when to follow the music of life. This surrender does not mean passivity. It means profound engagement on a level beyond thought. It means awakening your intuition to perceive the invisible architecture of synchronicity and daring to trust your spirit enough to act on it. When you do this, you manifest not chaos but coherence, not randomness but resonance. You step into a rhythm where the improbable becomes inevitable. And in that rhythm, life ceases to be a riddle wrapped in suffering and begins to sing as a poem, one that you are both the author and the muse of. Imagine walking through a forest where every leaf, every breeze, Every shadow sings a secret song meant only for your ears. This is the sacred geometry of synchronicity, a cosmic choreography designed with infinite intelligence and love, inviting you to move with it, to unlock your spirit's greatest mysteries, and in the process, to create a life of breathtaking meaning and connection. So here you stand, trembling on the edge of the invisible. The choice is yours, to close your eyes and retreat into the safety of skepticism, or to open them wide and embrace the intoxicating, terrifying beauty of this new vision. To see that the familiar is an illusion and that true reality pulses beneath the skin of the world, woven by your own awakening spirit. Can you hear it? The silent hum beneath the noise of daily life, the call of a universe waiting for you to remember who you are. Not just a passing flicker of consciousness doomed to scatter in the wind, but a luminous thread in the eternal weave, a spark of the divine, a co-author of reality's unfolding mystery. This is no mere theory or comforting metaphor. It is a doorway, and once you step through, once you truly grasp the power of synchronicity, you will never see life or yourself the same way again. You will carry this truth in your bones, that your spirit is the lock and the key, the seeker and the found, the question and the answer. The world's mysteries don't dissolve into oblivion but open into endless wonders. And in this unfolding, your existence becomes an irrevocable poem of light and shadow, chance and destiny intertwined. A story that only you can tell, with a voice forged from the very fabric of the cosmos. So ask yourself now, are you ready to stop living in fragments and start living as the whole? To stop chasing certainty and start dancing with the eternal unknown? To unlock your spirit and through it, unlock the profound mysteries of life itself? If the answer echoes through your soul, then step forward. The tapestry awaits.